So the first one is the labor theory of value. And this is adopted by economic philosophers or economic theorists as science. And yet everything about it is wrong and has been established as wrong. Subjective value theory. Value comes from an individual places on a good. Good doesn't have intrinsic value. Like, how about a little American pin that my World War II dad gave me as a kid? What's it worth? Labor theory of value has value intrinsic to the matter. It's materialism. Utility. What's its usefulness to the consumer? How about if I have a leak in my upstairs bathroom, what's a pump worth to me right then? All of this is human determined. It's not matter determined. So the labor theory of value is fundamentally wrong. Technological change, like Marx was trying to quantify the value put in by the workers, by the amount of labor, put the value into the item. But what about the development of technology? That completely changes the amount of value that goes into the production of an item. And the development of technology is completely the result of human creativity. Market dynamics, supply and demand. I'm doing great selling roses in the winter. I'm doing lousy selling roses late spring when everybody's got there. It's, again, the humans determine value. The difficulty in measuring labor. Skills. Okay, I'm sure there's my buddy Joe over there. It would take me 8 days to do something he can do in a minute and a half. Do you know what I mean? What's the value of the labor? So skills, productivity labors, technological assistance. If he has the gear, if I don't have a camera like that, and I'm using a pencil, labor theory of value is fundamentally wrong. Fundamentally wrong. All value is related to the subjectivity of the human being, which is created. Okay, this ravaging of human status, making us below nature, below matter, also contributes to the eco-terrorism of today, of the maniacs that believe that everything is better than being human. That has Marxist origins, because matter was placed higher than God and higher than human beings. It's also the same worship of science spawned the illegal and unconstitutional government lockdowns. These are problems. See what I got here now. I've done that a bit. By God's grace, the Soviet Union and its militant atheism was defeated politically and militarily during the Reagan era. Now we just have to overcome two backwaters of failed communism: the CCP, which is self-confessedly and openly communist, self-declared communist, and the intelligentsia of Western universities, graduating people who fill up our media, our corporations, our elected offices, etc., etc. It's not just enough to complain about the fact. Clear understanding of the philosophical errors are the beginning of making it possible for us to reestablish the propriety, hope for recovering and protecting our country. In addition to the anti-God and anti-human foundations of the labor theory of value, there are two more extremely critical fundamental errors in Marxism. These are where did that show? They're pretty... There, okay. Dialectical materialism and historical materialism. The reason why these are importantly problematic, actually even worse than the failures of the labor theory of value. The dialectic describes the process thesis, antithesis, synthesis. This is the dialectic. Dialectical materialism is the ground of being. That which allows us to continue to exist is a product of that dynamic. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Everything exists because of that dynamic. Historical materialism is that history progresses because of that dynamic. So our being, dialectical materialism. The progress of history, historical materialism. How we go from A to B, how we go from year to year, how things change and grow and develop is from the dialectic. What is the dialectic? Synthesis, antithesis, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. That means that the operative dynamic by which all things exist and all things develop is conflict, antithesis. You go against your origin, that gets resolved and you progress. You go by being against your origin, that gets resolved and you exist. This means that the essential operative dynamic in Marxism is conflict. History proceeds by conflict. We exist by conflict. Conflict is the nature of reality. That's why it is essentially violent. It's not also violent. It's not tactically violent or strategically violent. It is violence, the dialectic. That is Marxism. Every scripture and nature itself, the birds and the bees and the planets and the stars, is the story of love, harmony, and symbiosis. That is the opposite binary. That is the opposite choice. Does history proceed through the evolution and unfolding of love, of harmony, of growing together, greater union, greater unity, and we progress? Does my being arise out of the harmonious operation of the elements of my physicality and of my... It's harmony. And so that's where these slides come from. There they are. That's nature, not conflict. That's the relationship between human beings and matter, not conflict. This is life. It's grounded in harmony. And Marxism, it's grounded in the dialectic of conflict. And so its imagery is violent by nature, its behavior is violent by nature. And we saw these horrific quotes from David on just, what was it? A man is the problem, murder is the solution. No man, no problem. The people of faith, in the same period of time that Marxism grew, racial equality, women's equality, social justice, the rise of social justice. Ralph Abernathy, friend of King, Shuttlesworth, what was it? Racial violence, civil rights movement, Jewish rights, civil rights, Desmond Tutu, South Africa. Faith, again, call it logic. If religion is too hard to sell, call it logic. Just ask tell me who or what is self-created and go from there. Once you have faith, at the very same time that the Soviet Union and China and all communist states had resulted in over 100 million deaths of their own people inside their own countries, not by wars. At the very same time, we are watching some of the most beautiful rise of human equality and human prosperity. And it just takes a simple, obvious decision of reform, restart. And I'd like to say, not only just reform and restart, but in this case, a kind of a new American revolution. I really believe in a new American revolution. Because what is the foundation of the American Revolution? Kill the bastards? No, it's just simply, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that should be working. This afternoon, we want to look at how to make that work one more time. And I think we can have a long time ahead of an even more beautiful America. So this afternoon, we will move on to the woke revolution, woke ideology. This is a mostly peaceful riot, a mostly peaceful protest. And these are some of the things that we'll be looking at this afternoon. Thank you very much.